Yeah, I suppose there is. Good luck how funds are coming out. I think it's a good Axe game. Like, against the Bloodseeker AA lane, it doesn't feel too hard to go up against these two as an Axe. So it's I think he's gonna have a pretty good time here on the Axe. No issues for Italian Gangster against Scourge McDuck's Bloodseeker. We shall see, though. Anything could happen. But generally speaking, I think with the Mirana support as well, it should be pretty easy to just kind of get the initial farm you want as this Axe. Even if they throw the Clinks bottom, which might be a little bit more annoying, I still think you're just perfectly fine. Especially once you have the Vanguard up, you're just not going to feel the damage anymore.
30 seconds to battle.
Yeah, I do feel like the A is not too bad in that lane as long as you can trade blows. It's really down to Wake Me Up's positioning on the Mirana. Like, if you don't manage to shove the AA away, then a couple of cold feats, a couple of ice vortexes with the Blood Right feels pretty stable for Scourge McDuck to get some consistent magic damage off. And the magic damage will not care for the Vanguard. So as long as you play with that Harass early on and just keep playing with that Harass into these early fights, then the Axe can feel a little bit locked in. And it can feel a little bit uncomfy jumping up. There's also value now for Scourge McDuck to go for an early shard. Like, this is a good game for it. Just having that 1.8% max health is pure damage onto literally 2 beefy cores with a Morphling that wants to kind of play around with his beefiness as well. Bloodseeker does feel pretty secure in some circumstances. It's a lot of very circumstantial back and forth here.
It could be concerning once you have the Blade Mail up on the Axe, though. I think it's the what is it, John?
Carrier gets the Spirit Across. We haven't seen any of the ET players go for this, but it's going to have a lot of damage going into that lane. Always nice to see.
Well, it is one of the strongest suits of the Elder Titan in this patch. Like, with the Twin Gates, you can do that. Plenty of damage being provided now to Kara, so B-God's just going to cop all of this. It's a lot of damage onto the Clinks, but it'll be okay to stay in the lane, of course. Let's have some regen available on the Clinks. Should be just fine. So he was almost expecting a bit of a tough lane here.
You can maybe take a peek at that mid while we're at it, or on that Timbersaw up against MTD. And that Death Prophet already looking like a pretty solid start for MTD. Again, there's a lot of magic damage to dish out here, just constant Crypt Swarm spam. If the Timbersaw comes close, you've already got the Spirit Siphon to threaten. You will not have chains in this lane at all, as we tend to see on the mid, so no way of really just running away from that magic damage again, and a lot of lifesteal for MTD. So I don't expect the DP to be shoved out at all. I think this is maybe one of the more challenging Timbersaw lanes. At the best, it just develops into a farming lane, which you don't mind at all in the DP. Once you hit 6, you can just go for a tower push, no problem.
We'll see how it all pans out. The bottom lane's the one I'm probably most interested in here. Just want to see if they can actually deal with the Axe very well this bottom. Italiano Gangster, I think he's going to just continue to be perfectly fine here as this AA pick, like Empyrean. Obviously, one of the AA pick against the Morphling. The Ice Blast does very well against the hero. Does well against Timber as well, of course. We know that, but whether he can actually help this bottom lane is going to be a different question entirely. So far, no first blood being drawn between either side. Both sides just happy to secure that initial farming stage. Could be quite a pretty quiet laning stage between these two teams.
It comes down to your duos as well. Like, Morphling doesn't necessarily want to get too aggressive with the ET. The Doom kind of just wants to farm up with the Clinks. It's not like you can gap close on a Morphling all too safely. And the bot lane as well, it's going to be a little bit more poke and prod. I would say, I don't think the A is that bad into this lane. Again, it's more down to Wake Me Up to try to zone out Empyrean. Like, Blood Rage, his Battle Hunger is nice and all to try to zone out the AA, but he can poke and prod really well with Chilling Touch. And Cold Feet into Blood Right is always a little bit of a scary threat. Scourge McDuck doing a great job of just managing his lane so far. As long as he doesn't get spun on too often, you're pretty happy here as a Bloodseeker.
That's not what I'm worried about. Like, I think the Axe just getting the initial quick farm is going to be concerning the Scourge, because once you have the Blade Mail blink up, it's pretty hard to go against it as the Bloodseeker. So Argus getting jumped a little bit is going to be just fine. Go for the Tango regen here. Be okay to stay within the lane. It seems like Arde's having a pretty damn good time as the Doom. B-God doing a very good job now of just zoning out Kara. This is the stage where you hit level 3 as it clinks. The damage output starts to get pretty annoying. It's Kara trying for rotation to Arde with the Blood Grenade. Arde has the Scorched Earth back up, so now Kara's the one in danger. B-God will go for a bit of a chase. Doesn't quite have enough damage yet, but eventually will. It's that last tar bomb doing just enough damage to secure first blood here for himself. Nice little pick off here from our Clinks.
Now that's a nice little take. You're low on both heroes though. At least the Ring of Halt is up for Ade. So you can just sit around there and kind of farm up. A little bit of a dive here from MTD. RRL already very low.
Yeah, but he has the level 2 chain,
though.
so he's going to be just fine to be able to get away from this. So respecting the amount of damage the Spirit Siphons have been dealing to RRL, we'll go for the chain max as well. Let's make sure there's not going to be any free kills going to the way of the Death Prophet. It's fair enough. Meanwhile, top lane, Ade again being chased down here by Kara, but the slow is there from the Tar Bomb. And it's not going to allow him to continue moving into the Doom.
Yeah, you're still getting some good farm out. It is good spacing for the Morph, although Argus' CS has slowed down a considerable amount, like 21-9 in comparison to Scourge McDuck at 32-3 and arguably a harder lane. Does not bode too well. Bloodseekers can farm pretty fast when some Maelstroms up. And there's not much I don't think Italiano is going to contest that farm all too early in the jungle until the Blink Blade Mail is up, as you mentioned. And that's still after Vanguard as well. So it's still a lot of time that you have to wait for the Axe to be online to apply that pressure. And considering that your Morphling will sit back and farm for quite a fair bit as well, I think the tempo is kind of lining up here for the cut as they will look for some punishment.
This power rune's being picked up here. Imperium able to take the shield rune away. It's a fight between him and Wake Me Up. Meanwhile, mid lane, rather the top jungle, MTD able to find Kara in that dire jungle, so a nice easy pick off for him. Does have the level 6 timing now. Not sure if he's too confident of being able to push with this though, to be fair. Like, it is still a Timbersaw you're up against now with almost level 7. The Chakram's still going to make it very, very hard to push into the tier 1 mid. So we'll see exactly where MTD intends to go with this this level 6 timing. Whether he's going to just wait for RRL to disappear out of the mid lane, or whether he's going to try and rotate to another side lane and just try to get the push out that way. Hell, maybe he doesn't even pop Exorcism. It's kind of hard to know at the moment because he doesn't really have the best options.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he's doing a fine job though, just pinning RRL mid as well. You managed to get the Wisdom Rune steals on cut, so both Wisdom Runes going their way. Imperium might have to sacrifice for this, although looks like not quite. Doesn't manage to force Wake Me Up to bounce around a little bit.
Wake Me Up's taking too much damage. Yeah, he tanked the Ancients. Imperium, though, he's also going to mess up. Yeah. His Ice Vortex aggroing the creeps. Unfortunate.
It helps you, then it turns against you. You got to watch your back. Trust no one. Not even neutrals.
Especially not the neutrals. So, I mean, it's 3-0 right now. The Cut's way. Pretty nice start here for the Cut. Mid lane, RRL again being chased down here by MTD, but it doesn't... It's gotten to the point now where the Spirit Siphons aren't doing anywhere near enough damage to the Timber to care. MTD actually just building into a lot of ATOS here on the Death Prophet to try and have the lockdown against the Timber. So there is a lot of value in this game. In fact, like even against the Morph, against the Marana, a lot of ATOS going to do some great work. Rotations are coming top lane. Kara and Wake Me Up going to be around. Argus is already there on the Morph, can provide the extra damage they're looking for. But it does seem like it's going to be rather hard to actually get to initiate here at the top lane, because it almost feels like the Cut are ready for this.
Yeah, they're just keeping Ade up front, B-God hanging the tree line. And the Doom is a little bit harder to kill off with a Vanguard. Not the ideal target to jump. Kind of the same story with Italiano with his Vanguard, so not really going to look for the all-in commitment. Love these forward wards coming out from the side of the cut, spotting out this movement as well in the jungle. But you see that Wake Me Up is hanging around the area, and that does lead to that defensive formation up top. And just cuts off any angle. Like, you can't really jump out of it. It's a Doom with Vanguard. It's a little bit too tanky. The passive nature of the game does feel pretty good for the side of Ravens, though. Admittedly, again, you're waiting for your axe to farm up. You're not being punished for that. You're not able to get off too much aggression with the early exorcism up on MTD. So no push, no ganks coming in. And that works in the favors of Ravens. I think the cut, their timings are lining up, but they're not able to find openings. So the farm game continues, and that's what you want in Ravens then.
At least Scourge McDuck is farming quite effectively here on the Bloodseeker. Helena Gangster has queued up the blink into the Blade Mower now, which again is going to be pretty nice against the Bloodseeker. Not much Scourge can really do about it. TD. Chasing on Takara, but can't really keep up with the older Titan with all that bonus movement speed, so he's just going to get out of there.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Things are still going very well for the Ravens, all things being said and done. Like, there's a 1k advantage towards the cut, but my issues still stand. Like, this axe is finding way too much farm. Top of the net worth right now is Italian a Gangster, and he's just free farming in the triangle right now. Blast off is there, rather the Ice Blast is there, top lane onto Argus, but he's fine to walk out of there. Very nice stomp from Kara to ensure that they cannot pursue. They're going to start trying to pressure the top tier 1 tower, and it looks like they'll get away with it. I don't know if Ravens care for this, because Ravens are finding the initial farm they need on their cores to get going. And there's the blink up now on the Gangster. So he'll be able to move in very, very soon.
They can start to try to get that jump onto Scourge McDuck. No saves in your sports here. And that should lead to some nice kills if he does find the angle. It's out. Should be showing in the creep wave. No, not quite. It's still coming out in the courier. Let's see if they figure out that timing here. The cut, again, with the objective, feel good, but it certainly isn't enough. They need more. The fact that MTD's camp mid is, I think, holding them back a little bit. Although with the Atos up, surely that's when we start to see some plays here from the Death Prophet. It's flying out now. You need to reel in more from the map. Italiano with a smoke though.
Mid lane, they've got the call out onto MTD. The dunk is gonna miss though. MTD, he's gonna turn out with 3 Spirit Siphons, healing up all the way. Ice Blast to fly onto RRL. He is gonna go down. Oh no, they barely miss out. How unfortunate.
It's the blink timing lining into the Atos timing. You know, just too many stats on MTD, durable enough with a maxed out Spirit Siphon. They won't get much of a push from the Exo here onto mid. So there's one boon here for the side of Ravens, but that's your blink reveal on the Axe. Not lining up the way you'd want it to. And that should mean the cut should be able to respect that, you know, start to declump a little bit on these engagements when they don't see the Axe. Not allow a big blink call out and just kind of play it safe. So the item timings are met, but it doesn't line up into the kill you'd want. You even drag in Argus to help out on mid. Just kind of stalling him out from keeping that free farm going. And the cut, more than happy to just go back and build up. And to be fair, you know, we did mention that the slower pace favors Ravens. The one thing the cut does get out is lots of farm for B-God. He's working onto the Solar Crest, doesn't feel like it's too far off. And having that way of softening up, something like the Axe, something like these supports in that Plinks, it's gonna feel really damn good when you do get called. Like, at the very least, you can always try to dish some damage back on the Axe when the call is down.
Oh, Ice Blast again down at bot lane. Italian Gangster getting caught by that. Arrow actually going to hit MTD, but Gangster, man, he should eventually drop. He's getting very, very close, and the final hit will do it. B-God able to secure the kill. He might die for this. He'll try to fight back, though, with a 3-man silence from MTD, buying plenty of time. So they will get Wake Me Up down as well. 2 down for the price of 1. The cut doing some fantastic work. I do like this this Rod of Atos into the Ice Blast setup. It's working very nicely here between these two.
That's the one thing. That's the one thing they lacked in their lineup: hard control to set up for the blast. But MTD's build up, understanding the shortcomings of their draft, compensates for that weakness, and they've been able to just build off on top of it. Managed to get everything they could ask for. They've got the Arcane Rune secured by Ade here as well. So MTD is going to have a great time popping the next Exo. Ravens, nothing quite lining up. And this is the one time where, you know, this axe starts to feel lackluster. It doesn't pop off. It's not finding kills. It's still finding farm. But it's soaking up a lot of space that you could leave instead for your Timbersaw. You could leave instead for your Morphling. And you're left with no activity right now in Ravens. I mean, they tried it one time with a Blink Arrow. Doesn't pay off. And they just feel like, all right, we don't have enough. We'll go back farming. But inside of the cuts start to approach their critical timings at that point. And this is a Doomwood Midas Vanguard going for the Guardian Greaves, more sustain to prevent the Blink calls from feeling too amazing if the Doom's around. Again, the Solar Crest fully up now for B-God. Your Bloodseeker pretty much free farming here with a Maelstrom into the BKB next. Everything lining up, even Travel's already up for MTD, means he can maintain that chase with the Spirit Siphon quite easily.
Yeah, TP's back down to the bottom lane here from MTD. Actually has a Arcane Rune as well, so they could try to make the play onto Argus. That'd be a big one. Everything up. Ice Blast can be thrown out, but no, they messed it up a little bit. Still, it won't matter. They don't need the damage from the AA Ice Blast when they got the passive to land. Imp here just ensuring the Ice Blast does connect with the passive. It's enough. Like, that's a Morphling kill now going the way of the cut.
And the response is there from the side of Ravens, but just a bit too late. The TP here is down bot. They're smoked up, but not going to be able to get anything. Maybe you catch Empyrean. That's just an AA. Not the biggest target to gun for this massive commitment. And that space up top for a tier 2 to potentially get pushed in. MTD ready to go with the EXO. Argus again shows up here.
Could be another nice big one. They don't have Ice Blast this time though, so it should be a little bit more challenging, but not quite. Silence into Doom will do the job. Oh, well, the cutter's just not giving Argus a break. He's top lane Ade. He might drop for this, but it's well worth it. He's done his job. See if they can get the rest of them out. Wake Me Up also going to go down, so it's the same duo dying again. And the cutter, they're just out of it.
Good hit and run. Really good flank coming out from MTD. And that came off the back of them sensing that smoke down bot. They change positions. They kill off Argus 2 times in a row. Like, this is not a good feeling right now for the Morphling. He TP'd into that lane. He has to wait for him, run around back to somewhere to farm. And he's bottom net worth core. This is the last year you'd want to be in such a low position in net worth, but Side Cut's done a fantastic job of just applying that math pressure, even finding Kara now for free as well. Like, this Clinks with that Solar Crest up, it's just a huge nuisance. Your supports aren't exactly the tankiest, and well, the other Titan's not exactly mobile enough to try to get out of there.
Certainly isn't. 5k advantage now the way of the cut. Bottom main, Ravens are just grouping up again to try and get a bit of a push going, I think. They might be feeling a little bit weak for that now. Like, Argus is just looking at his net worth on the Morphling. It's just so depressing to look at. It's fallen so far behind. Scourge with Duck's almost got a full BKB up, so he won't be worried about anything very, very soon. That's the BKB timing is there for Scourge. Like, seems like you definitely just want to group up and get going. Tier 1 bottom tower, though, is going to drop. Raven's able to pick that up for free. So no defense to come here for the cut. They'll let them have that one. They were grouped up in the mid lane here, the cut, but they have not tried to make any kind of play towards the tier 1 mid. So they might look towards RRL. If they do land the Rod of Atos into the Ice Blast once again. And that's RRL gone another time. It's just so easy once they get that little combination up.
Oh.
Jump in. They've got the Blade Mail Blink now and Italian Gangsters. They got MTD down.
Is under attack.
Are they gonna run? Will be okay. At least they do secure one kill. Now Scourge looking for Eruption. Not gonna find one, but won't need one either. Kara is down.
Argus
Ice's
has no
actually
mana.
landing on Argus. That is not something you see every day, and Argus just cannot catch a break as the call comes in. Italian Gangster trying to save, couldn't even find a dunk. Wake Me Up trying to run as well, but Scourge will just chase him down. Oh, everything has just gone terribly here for Ravens.
Again, it's a challenging game. Like, sure, you've got this call play to make, but the cut are disciplined enough to stay declumped. And again, all your cores are susceptible to this AA blast. Every single one just falls to this combination of Atos and Blast. We're not even looking for massive team fights coming out from the cut. They're just running down one by one. They know the side of Ravens aren't ready for the clump up. So they just punish them for trying to find some farm. And this gets scarier and scarier as the game goes on. This kind of counter scales up.
This run of Atos pickup from MTD was absolute genius, honestly. It's just the amount of setup he's had now with this. It's just worked perfectly here for the cut. The Ravens, they've got to get some kind of plan going because they're AK behind now in this game number 1.
Radiant are
It's starting to feel like they have a draft where they can't be the ones being hunted, but the ones being the hunters here is. It just hasn't been the case. We have not seen many jumps in at all from Ravens. Even now, they're playing quite passively, just trying to bide some time. But the cut are the ones that just want to keep moving. So completely understandable. So you feel like you're the much stronger team right now, so they would just keep going. Bigod's going to find Kara, looking for an easy pickoff, has got one. He might die to Gangster, and he does. But there's no calls happening here. The dunk again missing. So they do actually find Ade now. Telling the Gangster gets out of there. Ravens, they'll just keep going. Meanwhile, MTD trying to find the morph, but there's no follow-up Ice Blast this time around because Empyrean is just being chased by RRL. Suppose it's kind of the trick to avoiding all these jumps is just chase the AA.
And that's a little bit of maybe a greedier play coming out there from B-God, looking for that solo pickup on Kara. Not expecting the follow through from the rest of the team of Ravens. They managed to find a bonus Doom kill off the back of that. So a nice win for the side of the Ravens. That does reel in a little bit their way, especially since you don't lose Italiano there. Italiano going for his BKB is going to feel a lot better once that's up. And the Lincoln's already being up on Argus means that combination play onto Morph is a little bit harder to pull off. You need someone else to kind of pop. Or at least you can start with Spirit Siphon to pop into the Atos. Could be the way to go now to try to pin down. But Argus should have enough of a response that if the silence isn't out on Morphling, then should still be able to strength shift in, release before the blast comes on. Shall see the side of the cut will just go straight for Roshan. You've got the clinks, you've got the right click from your Bloodseeker, you can get the stun. The Elder Titan Spirit does scout them out though.
It's going to be quite dangerous. Moonlight Shadow is going to be used up here. It's going to be seen underneath the creep wave though, so they know they're in this right now. Arrow's going to give a bit of vision onto the Roshan. Earthsplit is going to be there to try and zone them away. Roshan's still very, very low. They've got to try and make a play soon if Ravens want to try and contest this. RRL throws a chakra in. Italian against it. He's got a two-man call out. They've already blown up Scourge McDuck. Scourge is gone.
They got the Aegis.
But they've got the Aegis as well. The Morph has picked it up. Argus, he will lose his first life, but it won't matter because he has a second. 3 down for the cut. B-God also getting caught, is going to drop, trying to take Wake Me Up with him, but it's not going to be enough. 4 down now. The only survivor is MTD, who barely TPs out in time. Well, this is what I was saying, John. Like a blink call in with a Blade Mail on the Bloodseeker, he's just dead. And that's exactly what happened.
And they find the angle this time. They've got to nail it every single time. I think for the side of the cut, you just don't have enough just yet to sit through that output on the X. And you have to respect that. They clump up a little bit too tightly in the pit area, right outside Roshan's dwelling place. So, again, just the vision game coming out. The arrows, the stomp, kind of holding back the cut. The stomp did force them to go into that position walking outside. They combined that well. from the Ravens to get that blink in. For the cut, pretty big loss. You don't have Aegis. You took it away from Argus at the least, but you don't have that tool now to go for the tier 2s safely for the rest of the tier 2s and maybe threaten high ground. And even the gold did go the way of Ravens. Like the last hit onto Roche was a dire last hit. So you get the gold and the Aegis. You don't give anything away to the cut. But they've been pretty on point, but you have to respect that. Maybe some sort of save can come out in itemization. I'm not sure if you can really go for E-Blade on anyone, but that could be one way of stopping the axe from being highly effective. A Eul's could be one answer as well. Although no one really going for that. Maybe Empyrean down the line, but for now he's opting for a Glimmer Cave. Thing will smoke up though, not dissuaded too badly by that fight.
I'm going to try to make something happen again. Again, they have to be the aggressors here. They can't really afford for Ravens to jump in first. Kara has a Ghost Scepter now to survive the initial onslaught of B-God, but he's got a Shards up now. With the Burning Barrage being up, it's going to be a lot easier to just take him down through that. RRL be fine to avoid the Blood Right. It seems like they're just going to push out the side lanes now, Ravens. They don't really need to allow themselves to be caught here by the cut. Rather just push out the side lanes and just keep the farm going. That last fight was with their Axe and Morph still behind in net worth. So once they've officially caught up, it's going to be a lot easier for them to try and make the comeback this game. You're not even at the stage yet where we have an Ags queued up on Argus. That Ags is just such a game changer now on the Morph. I imagine he'll be looking to queue it up after this Mantra, and there it is. He does queue it now.
Yeah, should have a lot of good forms to turn into, Bloodseeker being the big one. Minus Agi plus minus 70 attack speed is pretty significant. Although to be fair, the Bloodseeker with 175 on Blood Rage shouldn't be too bad off with the steal. I think it's one of the less impactful heroes for the stat stealing aspect of the Morph for sure. But it still makes it a lot harder. The Bloodseeker is just not durable enough to last through really, meaning mainly this onslaught from Italiano. So they need to find a way to get around that. Do have lag issues, but the G is given. So we should be able to get back into the game. In this game for Ravens, it does feel like it hinges on Italiano. Like he does have to land that blink call every time, but he does have his own BKB up. He's very well protected in the middle of these fights. Side of the cut has to really respect that. They've taken the step back in aggression, just going back for farm, wanting some of their own BKBs to be up and running first on Ade. MTD, he's got the Sanj up, looking for the Kaya next, or perhaps something like the Heaven's Halberd. Could be one way to go about it.
Oh, mid lane, RRL. Awkward scenario, but he's going to be fine. They don't have enough damage anymore for him, even with the Rupture. Just pops the pipe and walks away. Tier 1 mid tower is going to be denied. And Ravens, as soon as they see that deny on the tier 1, it just seems like they're not interested anymore. They're just happy to walk away, knowing that they got the objective they wanted in the first place. The cut. Still hanging about looking for a fight. But this is all that Ravens need to do, really, is just not allow them to make the jump first. So make it a pretty awkward kind of fight to start here for the cut. And, well, the cut, they're going to find nothing for this time they've invested.
It's a mass TP, trying to find some punishment for the push, but not having the combination on hand does hurt them quite a fair bit. 5k lead still stands for the cut, but the Ravens have managed to, again, claw their way back in with some good calls coming out from Italiano. Italiano just looking for his own Lotus Orb now to have even more up front here. It can be harder to shove him out once that is up and running. Bika, though, going for a Nullifier. Could be something to help the cause up against some of these cores. Take away some of the mobility. Lock them in a little bit better. I'm surprised that Bika didn't opt to go for his own Atos. Maybe like a Atos Gleipnir for himself as well. Just having another way of locking in a hero and getting the Ice Blast on could be one way of getting that done. But yeah, just opting for the Nullifier instead, more raw damage to look for those pickoffs solo on the Clinks. And the one thing that you can fall back on here for the cut is split push. I mean, you've got the Clinks, Skeletal Army comes out, you force a Fortify, but you're not committing too much for that push. And that tower should still just fall.
will. T2 tower gonna go down. No defense to come here from Ravens.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Bottom T2 now gonna be focused here from Ravens' end of things.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
The cut not looking to defend either apparently, but they have smoked up.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Smoke gonna amount to nothing, however. Maybe preemptively in case Ravens decided to try and come in for a fight.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They've come to a real standstill here, not feeling too confident to try and make anything happen. Not sure how much this favors them though. Like it starts to feel like yeah, Dota Plus is actually sitting at 57% win probability for Ravens at this point. I think the longer the game goes on, the better for them. I don't think it really gets too much worse for them as time goes on here.
Yeah, it doesn't get too much worse. I think the one ace factor you do have on the cut is, again, your Clink setting scale up for B-God. Basically a semi-core right now. You've got perhaps this AoE Doom that can come out from Ade. I think that's one thing that you don't deal with all too well on Raven's end either. If you are two melee cores that are tanky that want to keep casting spells, AoE Doom's gonna make short work of that. If Ade decides to farm that up after BKB, could be one of the tools that is there for the cut to keep that scale.
MTD.
So.
Woo! You saw the flinch from Ravens. They just wanted to jump in, but they didn't have the angle to go for it. Still waiting. Maybe a bit of a fight to break out over this arcane rune. MTD looking to move in and pick it up. RRL was there as well in the timber, but doesn't go for it. Realizes it might have been a bit too hot.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Still a very passive game now between these two teams. There's your Ags up though in the morph. So Argus, he might make the call to go. It might be around that time. I believe they are looking for a smoke attempt here, Ravens. Mid lane is where they are. There's a smoke on smoke situation. Top lane, however, B-God does break the smoke of Kara. Dust is there, but it will not reach the Clink, so B-God's going to be just fine to break the smoke and run out of there. Now they know the position of Raven, so the cut could try to make a play. MTD is going to be spotted here by Italian Gangster. TD running to the top right corner. B-God meanwhile finally being spotted. Still Invis is going to be able to run for now. RRL will chase him down. Call is not really there. Italian Gangster looking to get out of there as well. And neither side ends up starting a fight. Just retreat immediately.
Yeah. You know, no need to take too many risks here. Roshan's probably where we'll see a big fight break out, respawning in a few seconds. He'll spawn down south, daytime, for the next few minutes. It's going to be a pretty nice objective for both sides to gun for. Full Sanjin Yasha up and running for Scourge McDuck, going into the Basher next. And that's when things can get a little bit nicer here for the Bloodseeker. Again, not the smoothest, but still have some options. Hex for MTD coming up afterwards now as well, with the Shiva's done. For the side of Ravens, you're going for the Ags now in RRL. He's got his Lotus Orb up. You've got a Lotus Orb being farmed up by Italian as well, and he does spot out Roshan. And the call it's made for Ravens to head down bot. Should be able to clear it out fast. The cut, they have a TP point, but it doesn't feel like they can get there in time.
I mean, Roshan going down very freely right now. Empyrean does at least get an Ice Blast in to give the vision, but it's way too late. They were not expecting this. They're still trying to get towards the Twin Gates and see if they can fly through here, but they've got to cancel. I mean, you can see the Twin Gates kind of happening. Ravens would have been well and truly prepared for a big fight had they gone through those gates. Instead, now they've got the Aegis up, and they can move through the bottom lane, see if they can perhaps find a T3 tower. Alternatively, though, there's still plenty of outer towers to take here for either team, so you might as well just go towards the mid and the top lane instead. Or perhaps even look for the fight top lane.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
They couldn't gun for anything. They're in control right now on Raven's end. That safety net up for Argus.
Doom is out. They found themselves RRL. He's a bit of a tanky boy, but not quite tanky enough. He is gone. Scourge McDuck will take him out. Meanwhile, they did lose B-God on the Clinks, but it's still a very good fight here for the cut so far.
Is under attack.
It seems like that's going to be enough. Not feeling too confident to keep this fight going. They will retreat. That'll be bad. I think after you see the Ags usage on the Bloodseeker, like Scourge McDuck just didn't want any of it. Knowing how much weaker he just became due to the Ags morph, he just decides to get out of it.
Now play it safe. Like, they already commit all their big spells. The Ice Blast only clips once. You really don't want to take the follow-up fight with all the regen on hand. I think that's the bigger thing. Less so the Ags, because Scourge McDuck still managed to rip apart Mersaw in pretty good speed with his output, but really just the fact that you only clipped one on Ice Blast. That's what you really need to land on the cut to win out these trades with an Axe, with a Timbersaw, with a Morphling. It's all down to Empyrean. Doesn't have a shard up yet either, so it's a little bit harder to find that follow-through once that is committed. Maybe with the next Tormentor, you do get that shard up and running for your AA. That should make the fights a little bit nicer here. On the side of Ravens, though, don't mind, again, playing a slower game. Your Morphling's going to continue to scale up. Your Axe has a lot of itemization angles to take. Your Timbersaw is waiting for its Ags. You really don't mind too much. I think the side of the cut need to be a little bit. Empyrean is just slowly melting to the Tormentor from afar, but
yeah,
all right, he's fine now.
I don't know if they can take it with two. They might need a third. Now, here we go. They'll have it done. Took them a little bit more time than they would have liked, but they will get it done. Shards up on MTD.
I think the AA shard's a lot better, just
You
because
think
you're
so?
relying so much on the blast. Yeah, Cold Feet is pretty big in trying to lock in. Just AoE Cold Feet from a range. So it's follow-through control after the Atos. Can be pretty impactful. And the fear is pretty nice, but again, you're much more reliant on the Ice Blast anyway for these team fights.
Well, top lane, the push is coming from Ravens. They go for the tier 2 top tower. The Silver Edge almost up now on Argus. There goes the top tier 2. They might even just go straight for the high ground because they've still got a minute and a half of that Aegis timing left.
Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's bottom tower is under
Glyph will be forced. They aren't going to retreat yet. They've still got plenty of time.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Argus just jumping right back in.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
He's going to pop a smoke here. So on the retreat, just waiting for the creep wave, they'll use a smoke. Lines being drawn towards the bot jungle. Scourge McDuck, he'd be a great target if they ran right into him. Instead, though, pings are coming out mid lane where they'll find B-God. He's just going to invis and go away. Scourge McDuck has TP'd out as well. And so nothing really going to come out of this smoke rotation from Ravens.
Yep. Pretty big item pickup here for the side of the cut. They've got the Hex up. So more control to kind of lock in someone. Heck, even just hexing the Axe when he jumps in and calls if he doesn't BKB early. Could be one way to get that done as well here for the cut to take some more fights. More tools coming in. It's not as straightforward for Ravens, so both sides have to take some pretty specific angles here.
Here we go, the cut. Gonna move in. Aegis does now officially expire, so the timing was very good on the cuts end of things, but sadly they do not find the initiation they wanted. like Ravens are going to leave the area now. Just go towards the opposite side of the map. Can't. And even though they're holding AK net worth lead, it just does not feel like they're in the lead at all. A Ravens 65% win probability is still sitting their way. One good team fight will knock that up to like 70-80% instantly. It's literally just this AK net worth that's giving the cut still a decent chance here on Dota Plus' end of things. Ravens down to the bottom lane now. I'm gonna see B God. Mind you, he does have help around. B God just very, very pesky, just very hard to catch with the haste through now. He's gonna be able to back his way out. And neither side's gonna find each other again. We're gonna have one of those situations where they just kind of run around in circles, not able to see each other here. And it seems like, obviously, the game's going to turn into one of those games where we're waiting for the next Roshan once again.
Still all about the Roche. BKB up and running now for Argus, so a little bit safer up front. And some of the control that you have in the cut just kind of disappears at this point. And it becomes a lot tougher to try to find all of these kills. Like, you can find maybe one of the chorus, but not all of them.
Well, I guess he'd be a massive pick. MTD's being watched right now by Kara. It's a matter of who gets a jump on who. RL, he's going to chain right in. MTD being targeted immediately, but there's the Doom out. Does Doom himself in the process, but doesn't really seem to mind as now the Axe does jump in for a call. BKB was there though, so the Blade Mail is doing really no damage. Still, Scourge needs to be careful because Argus is getting right to work and he cannot man-fight the Morph. But he got the Axe down. They will even find Wake Me Up on the Mirana. Ravens are still trying to keep this fight going. MTD jumping into RRL now, going after Kara on the older Titan, but he is fine. Instead, it's B-God to drop, as RRL will continue chasing for more. But both Scourge and MTD are running a bit too quick. The MTD, he did turn around, trying to use a Scythe device on the Timber, but the Linkers did block. Nevertheless, it ends up being a 3-for-2 trade in the favor of Ravens. That was actually a very strong start for the cut, but they weren't able to really capitalize after the initial kills.
Yeah, again, just awkward from the cut in that they don't really clip anyone once more on that Ice Blast. They instantly get the reflected Doom out and low sword usage of RL. Very quick on the fingers there to transfer that onto him. And, well, it's hard to take that extended fight without the blast landing onto him. It's just a lot more difficult. The Bloodseeker can still have control in these fights for sure with the BKB. And that does keep them in that engagement quite a fair bit more. But I think I don't like that Ade is going for the Halberd. Sure, it's pretty important against Morphling, but surely AoE Doom is just necessary here. Because you keep getting Lotus Orb back. The Doom has a lot of impact just spamming his spells in front. Like, you actually do want to get more usage out from Infernal Blade in these engagements. Roche does begin. Smoke out from the cot.
Run right into Ravens. Argus, you'll break the smoke of everyone. There's no jump there because they actually had the Doom available. They just did not want to use it without breaking the Lincolns on Argus. Just holding onto the high ground of the Twin Gates again. Roshan is now officially up. Argus might just jump in and start getting it done. The cut now forced to try and be the ones to initiate. They do have the Ice Blast if they wish to use it to try and scout out here against Ravens. Problem is, you are so reliant on that to actually kill off this Morphling. You can't really afford to use it just for that capability. Roshan now officially going the way of Ravens. And the cut just need to run. They could try and fight, but it's pretty tough.
Yeah, they're holding position where they have vision. Maybe they get a good angle in for this initiation. But the Ravens aren't going to be tempting fate either. They know they're hanging around the area. They back off. They correct their lanes up top. And just don't give any openings out to the cut. Net worth lead goes the way of Ravens now. Very marginal, but is a significant showing from the 6K lead the Cut was maintaining a while ago. And this game is just getting harder and harder for the Cut. Like, yes, you are basically completely farmed up in B-God. He's going for his own Hex. But the BKBs are making it really hard to play into. The blasts from Empyrean haven't been consistent. It's causing a lot of issues here as well for them to face into Ravens. And sure, you are getting a lot of output now on Scourge McDuck, but it always feels like it's on a knife's edge as to whether or not he can kind of withstand through the onslaught of the sustain and damage that the Ravens does have on hand.
Yeah, it's just so important for him to get the BKB off before the fight starts, because once he gets called into the blade mill, he's just dead. It's a pretty tough game for Scourge. That last team fight, at least he had the BKB already going by the time Italian Gangster got the call off, so it didn't really make a difference for him. But even then, like, just trying to man fight Argus is proving to be impossible here for the Bloodseeker this game. It isn't too surprising. Like, this Bloodseeker hero isn't exactly known for its scaling potential. It is at that level now where it's kind of struggling to keep up. You are at least going to hit a nice timing on the level 25 soon, so you do have the 2 Rupture charges coming up. That could cause some havoc here for Ravens, but, you know, even that's kind of, like, questionable as to whether that's going to change anything.
I feel like double Rupture can be pretty big. Like, it is the turning point for Bloodseeker in trying to play into the late game. And he has gotten a lot of EXP, so it's not the worst time in the world to hit that double Rupture. My main issue right now is really just looking at Ade. Like, the Doom is good, but again, it's down to the fact that you can only Doom 1. If you could just get your Ags up, I think that's what changes the game right now. He does have the gold for a buyout, but wouldn't have buyback. Smoke, Empyrean does break a little bit of it.
I'm telling you, Gangster going to see him there just in the last second. Get in for the battle hunger, but does not get in range for the call. Bin is there. RRL gonna really start to chip away with the Chakram. Is the tier 2 mid tower just gonna drop for free here to Argus, it seems. No real play for the Cut. Still 2 minutes 45 seconds here on the Aegis for Argus as well, so there's plenty of time to look to go high ground. For now, they'll just retreat and, you know, reset, come back a little bit later on. But it certainly feels like they are just a much stronger team at the moment. The Cut certainly have the potential to fight back, especially in a high ground defense. But even then, I think it's just very tough. Because even if you get a good jump in, like, you've got to be worried about this Elder Titan just constantly stomping you with this Astral Spirit. This can be so detrimental in the middle of a team fight. It's B-God? Not going to be able to skip this creep wave. They are quite nearby here, Ravens. He'll stick around and skip the next one. Seems the Cut not feeling too confident of being able to defend here, though a nice Hex out has caught the Morphling. Ice Blast is going to land as well. Maybe they can find this kill. Argus, he will waveform away for now. The Clinks is right behind him if necessary, as Italian Gangster had jumped in. A big Earth Splitter, and there's your A just going down. They have got the first life.
Cost them a lot of BKB usages, but you do stall out in the high ground. Ravens still hold on to 2 cheeses, so they have some solutions here if they want to try to force the issue. I do like that Empyrean has the RNG luck to get the Spell Prism for himself, so a lot more uptime on the Ice Blast is going to be big in helping them get some tempo here on the side of the Cut. But really big play. And it's basically just MTD blinking forward, breaking Lincolns, getting the Hex off, allowing that Ice Blast to come in and allowing them to find that kill. Does leave the side of Ravens wanting for more. Hex up on RRL, so he should have his own control and does jump in now and start to play around all of this control coming out. I'll go for the Tormentor. Very even map state right now. All outer towers being taken from both sides. One factor now is that the split push of B-God is something that I feel like that needs to be emphasized now from the Cut. If the Clinks can just constantly shove in a wave and prevent the Ravens from clumping up, that's where the Cut can find opportunities. And we'll see, for the most part, the Cut right now is sticking together in the same general area of the map. So are Ravens. So neither side really wanting to tempt fate too hard here.
Things are out. The Cut seem to want to try and jump in. I know exactly where Ravens are at the moment. Prepare the high ground with some observer wards.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Ravens retreating again. It's not going to stick around this area. Push out the top wave.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Kind of the name of the game when you're playing up against the Clinks. There's just going to be constant split push coming in. So go ahead and address the top wave. Not feeling quite ready to push into the high ground. Now Roshan's still a while away from respawning the next time. The Cut, they could think about grouping up for a smoke now. So Empyrean is going to bring one out on the AA. Moonlight Shadow, though, going to be popped mid lane. Ravens going to secure themselves a shield rune here on RRL. They'll head up towards the top lane now. So maybe it's all about let's just deal with the top lane instead. Bottom lane has been pushed in, so they don't have to worry about that. The Cut, though, they are going to go for a 5-man smoke and hope for a good team fight. They're going to run into Kara here. Begot getting the vision. Nullify it immediately, so the Elder Titan is just immediately bursted down. RRL going to be chased down, but Italian Gangster is there, holding down Arne, but the call is not going to be enough damage. Italian Gangster, he'll be followed. Scourge McDuck, he is just melting to the damage of Argus. He cannot fight back as the Bloodseeker. Begot is gone. That was a great start of the fight. They got 2 down immediately. But then you just see Scourge McDuck die just instantaneously to Argus's damage. And now suddenly the team fight goes the way of Ravens. They're onto the high ground, it seems.
They've got the opening. They bought back onto 2. They want to get something out for their trouble. Buybacks available for the side of the Cut. MTD.
They jump in again from MTD. Ice Blast is going to land. Cold Feet is there as well. But he's still perfectly fine to just walk away as MTD. Well, they're going to commit the Doom here onto the Timber. RRL, he's just going to hold the high ground on the staircase. He's fine.
They've got the cheeses available as well, so they get a reset out for Argus. They get to try again.
They shall. Hex out again, MTD. He's been doing so much work here for the team. Ice Blast out again. They have got the morph. Argus still perfectly fine, though. They cannot follow up. In fact, RRL is just going in by himself at the moment as the Timber. It seems like this top lane of Barracks may be left for a little bit. It's very, very low. In fact, never mind. Argus again going to jump in on his own, forcing a refresh out from Arne. So Refresh Orb was committed here by the Doom, just in preparation, but again, he had no way of breaking Lincoln's. So needs to rely on the rest of his team to break the Lincoln Sphere before he can actually commit the Doom, and it just never happens.
I think all things considered, though, for the Cut, they do manage to hold on without being forced to buy back themselves. So they hold on to their melee racks. They only lose their range, which is probably the better option to lose out here for sure. It means that your creep wave isn't going to shove out as hard. And you have a little bit more room to still try to play this game. Ade now trying to go into the Ags. That's going to be the one item with the double Doom that feels good. Doom yourself, no worry about the Lotus Reflect. Have that wave stopping the morph, stopping the Timber Saw, stopping the Axe from doing what they want. Smoke out though, Ravens. They've got a good angle here.
They're run down bot lane. Does he go for that creep wave? Seems like he's going to reveal himself, trying to bait the side of the Cut in. Roshan has been started, by the way. He will root up the Morphling Illusion, then realize later on that that was the wrong target. Moonlight Shadow popped. Stun is out. They've caught Ade. Hiding here is the side of the cut. The Scourge McDuck immediately caught. He was the only one at the front. Empyrean has gone a boot. Ade just popping the Doom while he can on the axe, but it's not going to do too much. Oh, wait, what? Argus goes down. All right, never mind. Argus is down. Scourge McDuck is brought back. Kara in trouble now. Should drop to boot. They do at least find Bigot. The Morph fought back, but Argus is trying to get back through the twin gates to help out here. RL in the meantime being attacked, but does have the eggs up. Empyrean barely surviving on the AA. Zade still being chased down. Will refresh again. Has another Doom available. Look at, oh, and Argus is down. What is happening?
Oh, God, yes.
What?
Oh, he got
How
clipped.
does he die?
I think he got clipped for the blast. It didn't look like he should have been, but...
No, I don't think he did, John. I think he literally just died to right clicks.
He maybe didn't juggle around with the strength gain, doesn't respect the output coming out. There's a lot of percent-based damage here on the side of... Well, some percent-based damage coming out from the cut. And they get controlled up. Like, the buyback gambit doesn't work out, and... I mean, that's such a big opening, too. Scourge McDuck in the worst spot possible to break that smoke. In the tree line, broken up. And they still managed to find a follow-through. Ridiculous. Like, Empyrean managing to live to get multiple Ice Blast usages was also really big. The output from Bigot's just insane, even though he dies pretty fast as well. Like, they lose their top racks fully, though, with a shove in. And the Tier 4 is exposed, but they can rush in themselves now.
Yeah, they certainly can. There's no Morphling. They know that for a fact. No buyback available, so they're going all in. RL going to try his best to defend this. And I'm going to need to see some form of a replay of that last fight, because I am so confused as to how that happened to the Morph. So wake me up now. They're just going to ignore him. Screw the Marana. Let's go for the Ancient. This is it's over. RL's called it. GG. This is a game that the Cut very well know they probably didn't deserve to win. And, I mean, Argus...